welcome to Sparkle and Chill. Today, I just started to put on a second pair of glasses. Oh goodness, welcome to Sparkle and Chill. We are, it's been a day. I wanted to do just a quick video today, show you what I've been working on. I've been working a lot for my new job, and I get done working and I haven't been doing as much putting drills down, but the last couple days I've worked on some minis. This is the one I'm going to start on. Isn't it cute? Little, these are the let me see here, the Luo Pixel box, the dog breeds one. So I got that, and I wanted to go over the ones that I have done so far. So I've done the cute little Beagle. Isn't that cute? Now these drills are really different. I guess, you know, when we talk about acrylic drills, I hadn't really done these type of deals with, I think these are acrylic. They feel rather, what's the word? Okay, let's see. Square rhinestones canvas mosaic. Let's see. It's a Kansas diamond pen, glue pen. It doesn't really say what type of drills they are, but they seem to me to be very much like a softer plastic than resin, and they're square, and I just think these, you know, so they're not going to be like a Diamond Art Club or, you know, one of the premium kits, but I really like the way they lay down. I like the way they hit the canvas, and they're easy to work with. They're really easy to work with. Now, the spacing on this, some people who like a really tight grid might not like this because this isn't a super tight grid, but I really like it. It's the right, I wish that all of them were this type of grid because it works really good for me. So I did that one, and then I just finished the little Jack Russell Terrier. Isn't he cute? And I did this one. I did these both the same day. I did the little Jack Russell, and then I did the little, what do they call this? Silky Terrier. Isn't it cute? So they came out really good. These are the three I've done. I'm a month behind. I was actually way behind on these because my plan was to do these once a month, to do one of these. I know, some people do like the whole kit in a month, but I wanted to spread these out, and I like using them as a kind of a buffer in between other kits that I'm working on, right? Something to kind of give me something else to work on. The other thing I did, let me go get it here. It's not very far away, so let me just go get it. Didn't have to go far. It's just literally right there. And this turned out so cute. The April calendar from people are calling it the Hobby Lobby calendar, but I got this on Amazon. So I think that both Amazon and Hobby Lobby are selling it. But if you'll notice, these are really sparkly. The whites are really rainbows. I thought, you guys will laugh at me. So I got the kit, and I got everything kitted up. But there's like 4 or 5 bags of drills that didn't fit in my little square containers. They're the same kind of these. What I'm working out is one of these. And they didn't all fit, and so I have them in the box. And I forgot about that. But the white pieces didn't look like there was going to be enough to do this one. So I was like, well, so I decided to just swap out and use, I had bought these drills, a bunch of ABs. I think it was like 30 bottles of ABs in different colors. And so I decided to bling this one up. And so I did the whites in a AB. I did some of the pinks, not all of the pinks. I used the pink that it came with, and then I used a pink AB. I used a yellow AB down here, and I think those are all the ABs I used, but it turned out so cute. So that's what I have been working on, is getting these little projects done. I don't think I might get back to can I get my brain to work here? I might get back to the stained glass French Bulldog, but probably not until April's over, to be honest. I'm having fun working on some of these smaller projects, and I still wanted to kit up a budget kit, but I haven't done that yet either. So I thought I'm going to work on this now, and we'll have a little WIP Chat. And yeah, but I wanted to show these because I haven't really, the one you guys have seen is this one. Now I've got this one and this one done, and hopefully this won't get done in this sitting, but hopefully it'll get done by tomorrow. I just thought it would be a fun one to work on. Is that going to be too? So what I do with these, because I know I'm not going to do the whole thing and I don't want to deal with, oops, let's move this over. And I know I just bought that new thing at my birthday. I got that puzzle thing that I've been using as a surface, but it doesn't go up high enough. It's on a slant, but it only goes like maybe, it's too low. So I did just purchase an easel, because a real easel that's made for doing stuff like this or painting or whatever. But once that comes in, I will be using that instead of the other thing, because the other one is kind of flimsy. It kept falling apart, to be honest. If I take it off of here to go do something, to move it so I have table space to work on something, the legs fall off, and I'm like, this is not, that's probably why it was so cheap. But I decided that I really don't want to deal with that. So I'm going to start with, actually, let's not start with those. Let's start down here on the small bees. So I have where is, it's the actual last one. So that's what I'm going to be doing as soon as I get it unboxed. It came yesterday. It's still in the box. I just haven't had the ability to do anything because I've been working. So it may not be unboxed until this weekend, and it's only, is it Monday or Tuesday? I think it's Monday. It's Monday. It's been, the weekend wasn't quite long enough for me. Did you guys think the weekend was long enough? I had to do my taxes. And that wasn't really so terrible. I don't know why I always think it's going to be so dreaded. And so I put it off, and then, and when I do it, it's like, it took me an hour. But I like literally did everything I could possibly do before I sat down to do them. Does anyone else do that? I literally went to the store. So I started out the day thinking, okay, the main thing I have to get done today is taxes. And then I did everything except taxes until like 7 o'clock at night. And then all of a sudden I was doing taxes. You guys like that? I don't know what's wrong with me, because I could have gotten them done in the morning and been done. And instead, I was like doing everything to avoid them. It kind of cracks me up, because it wasn't so hard. I used one of those online things, and I gotta say that takes all of the hard part of it totally out. You just answer the questions. It doesn't take very long. The biggest problem I had was that they wanted a code at the end of it, some kind of identity code that I didn't have and couldn't get. So I was going to e-file, but I couldn't because I didn't have this special code. So instead I had to print them and mail them. So it's going to be a while before I get my refund. But the good news is I'm getting a refund from both. That was a shocker to me. I thought that I probably was going to have to pay because I was on unemployment for a bit of the year, and I had a job for the other half of the year. And I thought, well, when I was on unemployment, I wasn't having them deduct the taxes because if any of you guys have ever been on unemployment, it doesn't really give you a ton of money. And so I had to have literally 3 weeks of my unemployment to cover my rent, and then I needed the rest to cover my other bills. So there really was no no way to pay those taxes as I went. It just wasn't possible, because if I did, then I wouldn't have been able to pay rent or the electric bill. And those were the two things that I was mostly trying to keep paid, that and, you know, putting food in your belly. So that's kind of what happened was I didn't. And so I thought, because I didn't have them taken out, I thought, oh man, I'm going to owe so much. So I think that's why I was kind of not wanting to do them, because then I was going to be, oh, I got to pay all this money. But I didn't. I ended up getting two refunds. They were small. It would have been much better if I had paid in. I would have gotten more back, but hey, I didn't have to pay anything. And that was a total miracle for me. And it's only been in the last few years that I've gotten money back. And I don't know how that is, but all my friends would always be all excited for tax time because they were getting money back. And I was always like, yeah, I'm going to end up paying again. Because when you're single, they like just take your money. They just feel like you don't have any reason to be able to get money back, you know. And you're paying for all these things that you don't even use, like school bonds and all those things. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for the kids and I want to make sure, but I don't have kids. I think that, and parents get these huge deductions for having kids, but they're the ones we're spending all the money on. It used to drive me nuts. I'm like, yeah, you get a deduction and I end up paying for your kid's school. And so it was kind of one of those things that used to frustrate me. Now I realize, you know, it's just part of, you know, it's just the way it is. You know, everybody's got to pay their taxes. So thankfully, I paid enough in that I didn't owe, and I actually get a little bit back, not a ton back. It's really a small amount, but a couple $100 from each one, which to me was a win, because I really thought I was going to owe. So yeah, that's one good thing about making almost no money, because I was on unemployment. And unemployment was a godsend. I really needed, I mean, I was looking for work the whole time and just wasn't coming about. And I got a job, and then it didn't end up being the right job. And then hopefully, I think this job that I got is definitely the right job. I'm working with great people and all that good stuff. So that's good. So that's the majority of what's been going on for me. Is I started a new job, and it does, you know, I don't have the mornings anymore to work on diamond painting. And I was actually, I made dinner, and then I was watching a little bit of TV, and I'm like, oh no, I need to get some diamond painting done, and I need to do a video, so you guys get it tonight. Yeah, it's it might not be it. You'll get it most likely tomorrow, because it's got to upload. So it's Monday, so it'll probably upload tomorrow at midnight. That's when I usually do them, and I do it that way so it gets time to sit in the queue. Since I'm such a small channel, if I just upload them and get them up, then they don't know to push things out or something. I watched a bunch of videos. Who knows, they're probably wrong, but it does allow for the closed captioning to get done if I wait. So I usually upload them, and then the next day I get the descriptions and everything in, and then it gets posted. So we're usually at least a day behind when the video was made. Sometimes I get it in, like on the weekend, sometimes I can get them uploaded and then get the description done before I go to bed, and then they upload at midnight. But to be honest, that doesn't happen too terribly often. But these have been really fun, and they come together really quickly. And let's go with, and they're just so darn cute. I'm really happy that I bought a bunch of these kits when they were on sale, because they are really cuter than, I mean, I thought, you know, this kit I actually spent a little bit of money on, because I found these before they went on sale. Like, I found these last summer, and I bought them, and I was gonna do a video on them, and I didn't get around to it because I had all the other stuff that was going on. And then another gal did her video, and I'm like, oh no, I haven't done mine yet. And so then I decided I better get my videos done. And I'm kind of glad, because I wasn't working on them because I was saving them to do at a later time. But they're really fun. And I got like 12 different sets of these things, so they'll last me forever, because the way I'm doing them is slow boat to China. But I think it's because I like to enjoy things. I've got a bunch of minis from Diamond Art Club. I've got a bunch of these minis, and then I've got a couple other types that were from Amazon. So I've got a lot of mini kits, and I'm telling you, I like them. I like them a lot, and I especially like them when I'm working on a big kit, because I can take a break from that big kit and I can work on these little things. And these kit up like a big kit, because there's 50 colors to the 16, and this one has 16. I think I spent $19.99 on this set, and I think the other ones were like, there was 2 others I got, they were like $16.99, and then they all went on sale a few months, about a month and a half or so ago. And it was Raimi over at Diamond Painting with Coco that found them on sale, and then she was showing them, like, oh, I've got a bunch of those. And then but I was glad she showed me that they were on sale, because I went and got a bunch more, because why not? But I hadn't worked on any of them yet, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm buying a bunch of them, and I don't even know what the quality is. Now, they do have, if you're really sensitive to odors, I have found that once I open them up, and so I opened all of them, right, when I did the unboxings. If you open them up and take them out of the plastic, even in the box, they air out a little bit. So it actually isn't bad. I'm not having any issues with them at all for me. So I get that. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you buy these and you're really sensitive to smells, then open them up and let them sit out, even with the cellophane down, because that will dissipate that smell. I think it's stronger when you first open them than it is after they've been open for a while. So I've had mine out of all the plastic that they were in, even though they're in the boxes, and I haven't really had any issues with that. They were kind of stinky when I first opened them, though. I'll say that they were a little stinky when I opened them, but I'm liking them. I'm liking them a lot, and the price was right on those other ones. They were so cheap. It was like it was almost a shame just not to buy them because they were so cheap. But they are a cheap kit, okay? I'm not going to say that they're some high quality. These drills are a little bit different. They almost feel like, what was I trying to say? They almost feel like they're like a plastic, not like an acrylic, but they almost feel like they're a type of plastic, which I know acrylic is a type of plastic, but you know what I mean. It's different. I don't know how to explain it, but they don't to me feel like normal drills. And that might just be me, but they don't feel the same as some, but they lay down really nice. And I like the spacing on these. For squares, I'm not having any issues. I'm able to multi-place. Like on the other one that I got, I'm having a heck of a time with the Peggy Collins one. With the drills are just so tight. I know some people really love a tight drill. Grill. I don't. I like them to be where they're tight enough that but I don't like them so tight that you have to push them in, you know, to get them to stay. But anyways, that's just my own little hang up. So what have you guys done today? I have been, I hope you guys had a good day. It was nice here, kind of cloudy, but still the sun was poking out. Of course, I didn't really see it because I was working, and I ended up working a little later than one of the good and bad about working from home. So when you work from home, sometimes you don't stop when you should, because I wasn't done with a project. I stayed on the computer, and then I realized I had dinner ready to go in the oven because I prepped yesterday, which you guys, I am loving that because I prepped yesterday and I had a really good dinner. I did one of those things that I've been seeing on Facebook, all these, different dinners you put in the little glass Pyrex things, and you've got a protein meal or whatever. So this one they were saying to, it was great to put, some rice in it, or some rice, or what was the other thing they said? Rice or potatoes or anything like that, right? Add a starch to it. Well, I'm trying to avoid that. So this particular one was, I just started thinking, I'm like, well, actually what I did was I kept seeing those dishes, and I thought, I want to do something like that, but I didn't really know what to make. So I went on ChatGPT and I said, I have some broccoli, some chicken, and some cheese. What can I make? Because I really didn't know what to make. I had all these things that I needed to use. And so it told me to cook the chicken, and I can't remember what all it said. What did it say? So anyway, then I'm like, oh, I also found a green bell pepper, and I also found an onion. And so over the course of like 30 minutes of trying to figure out what I was going to make, it gave me a few different options. I ended up, and it said to bake the chicken or fry the chicken, and then I'm like, I don't want to fry the chicken. So what I did was I took the chicken and I cooked it just done, not overly done, but just, probably not completely done, where it still needed to cook a little bit. And I cooked it in my air fryer till it had that nice coating on it. They get so nice in the air fryer. So I cooked it in the air fryer, and then I added some, and then I missed a step. I took carrots and broccoli, because that was another thing that I then added to it. Took carrots and broccoli, and I steamed those just till I steamed the carrots first for about 6 minutes, and then I added the broccoli and steamed for another 5 minutes. So it was still pretty crunchy. It wasn't like it was, I guess you'd say, al dente. And then I took and I put the chicken in the bowl and all the vegetables, and I added some raw onions because I didn't want them to cook to mush. I like them a little bit crunchy. And so I put the onions. How did I do it? And then I added some cheese and a little bit of milk. And what else? I'm trying to think this through. Sorry if this is coming across funny. So a little bit of cheese, and actually I did kind of a big handful of cheese. Added a tiny bit of milk to add kind of a creamy, and I cut like a tablespoon of butter off the butter thing, and then I cut that tablespoon into like 4 sections, and then I did that to 3 different bowls. I didn't put the cheese, the milk, or the butter and stuff in the ones that were just going to go in the refrigerator. I put those in the refrigerator and then put the other stuff in as I eat it. And can I just tell you, I felt like so then I cooked it for 30 minutes on 375. And guys, it was so good. And it was like a complete meal. I didn't have any rice or any potatoes or anything like that, which I need to stay away from anyways. And it was so good. It was so good. And I had 2 left. So today for dinner, I was going to do it for lunch, but I didn't remember to go put it in the oven early enough. So I was like, I guess I'm going to make something else for lunch. But for dinner, I was able to pop the second one in. And the first time I did it, I used mozzarella cheese, or not mozzarella cheese. I used cheddar cheese. And then at dinner time, I used pepper jack. And it was good. It was really good. So it's just the same dish. I just elevated a little bit with a little more flavor. I wish I had had some Anaheim peppers. That would have been really good. But I did have some green bell pepper. And I'm just, this is what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start prepping every 3 days because it only really lasts in the fridge for a few days, especially chicken dishes. But I'm going to start doing this because, number one, it makes it so easy. You know, that question we have every day, what am I going to make for dinner? I hate that question because I always end up eating the wrong things if I haven't planned ahead, right? I mean, I'll pick something pretty junky and not even a full balanced meal. I mean, I want to start making sure I get more vegetables into me. And this worked perfect. You just throw it all in, bake it, you know, so even, and what I did was I was done with work, but I was working on a thing for work still. And I wasn't quite done. And so what I did was I said, well, I'm just going to step away. And I went and I popped that into the oven, and then I went back to my desk and I finished up what I was working on until the timer went off. And then I still left it a little bit undone, but I can get the rest done in the morning. But that to me was a huge win. So that is my new thing. I am going to be prepping meals. I did it when I was sick. I prepped a lot of meals when I was sick because, especially like when I'd go for chemo, the day before I'd go to chemo, because that's the day I had the most energy, because I would have chemo and then I would be sick for like 10 days. I just had no energy for like 10 days. And then I would go and then I'd be really feeling really good for like 5 days. And then I would go in for treatment, and because it was every 21 days, I think it was. And so I'd have like, I don't know, like a week of days that were a lot better than the other days. And then I'd go and get treatment and I'd be down again because it just zapped your body of everything. And so So I had started prepping meals when I was going through treatment, because after treatment I had no energy, and if I didn't prep, I just didn't eat very good. It was a lot of stuff that I really shouldn't eat, especially when you're trying to recover from treatment. So I had started doing that and I forgot about it. I just stopped doing it because I was doing it out of necessity. Now I think I'm going to start doing it just because it's so nice to go, oh, I'm just going to pop this in the oven. It's like doing TV dinners, but they're not TV dinners. It's really good food. And I bought this bag of broccoli. I love broccoli, but I never think to make it. And that's just wrong, because I really like it if it's cooked right. If it's cooked to mush, I don't like it. But if it's cooked right, to where it still got some crunch to it, and it did. I mean, I steamed it for 5 minutes, and then I baked it for 30, and it was still nice. It was really nice and crunchy. And anyways, you guys are probably bored of this conversation, but I highly recommend, if you're one of those people that every day you're like, oh, what's for dinner? Take a day or two a week and just prep meals. And with chicken, you can only do it like 3 days in advance, because chicken goes bad in the refrigerator after that. You can't really go much past 3 days. You can get sick if it sits too long. But 3 days, I made 3 dinners. And then today on my break, because I didn't have, that's why I ended up making some hamburger up and making something. I had a pound of hamburger that my freezer's been too full, and I opened up the freezer and it fell out. I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what to make with this, because I can't fit it in the freezer. So I just cooked up the meat today and made a taco with a little bit of it. I got one of those bigger containers. I bought the taco seasoning in a big container, in a big seasoning container. I love doing it that way, because then you just have to use a teaspoon of it when you make just a small amount. That way I can turn the beef into 3 different things instead of just have tacos for a week. So I had tacos for lunch, soft tacos for lunch, and then I had my dinner stuff again. Was that 50? Yeah. So that was really good. Anyway, so that now my new thing is to prep. I'm trying to think of what I think I'm gonna do. I keep seeing this thing for a crustless pizza, where I'm pretty sure they're using sausage, but I thought I can use the hamburger that I made today. Layer the hamburger in, then you put the pizza sauce on, then you put your cheese, and then you put your toppings. And it's just a ground, and then you scoop it out in sections. And I thought, that sounds really good. And they also added like some, cottage cheese to it to add more protein. And then they added some other kind of cheese on top that was in slices. And so I thought, I could try that. And I like everything that's on it, so only difference is no bread. And I didn't get I was going to get some sourdough bread, but I decided not to, because I had bread last week, and it kind of spikes my blood sugar. It doesn't do it as much with the sourdough bread, but it still spikes it. It's still not probably the best thing for me, but I like bread. I like sandwiches. I gotta find the right recipe for something that's quick and easy to do. That's bread. Because I do love sandwiches. I've been using, those 0 carb tortillas and making sandwiches with those. So, and that works. Okay, so enough about food. But if you've got any good ideas like that, let me know in the comments, because I am prepping again because it just makes sense. Let me know, do you guys prep for meals ahead of time? I mean, it really is a huge time saver, and I eat better when I do it. Because I've got a good meal planned and it's already, just throw it in the oven. I mean, it's like having TV dinners without making TV dinners. I don't really like the processed ones. They never taste right. Remember when you were a kid and your mom bought TV dinners, you thought it was the best thing ever? My mom didn't do it too often, but when she did, it was always those ones that had the, I don't know if they even make them anymore, where they had like a pudding or some kind of snack in there, and corn and some kind of meat. We used to get the ones that had, what do you call that? Like turkey gravy that you put over toast. At least that's how we ate it. It was like this couple slices of processed turkey, really. And then you put it over. We used to make toast and then put it, the gravy and the stuff over it. They don't make those anymore. At least I haven't seen them in years. They probably were really bad for you. But we liked them. Mom would get them when we had a babysitter when I was a kid. But then they kind of just went away, at least at our house. Mostly because we were kind of probably outgrew them. Isn't this cute? It just, and they come together really quickly. And it's a quick, easy project. I love these projects for the in-between things. When you're working on something that's really big and you just want to do something that you can get done, this is what my go-to is. Mini kits. Because you can get them done. They're cute. You can finish them in a night if you want, or a more, you know what I mean. You can finish them in a couple hours. They're not something that's gonna, and some people can finish them faster than me. But they don't take a ton of time. So this one, when we end, we'll be about halfway done, and I'll work on the other half tomorrow. And it's just, yeah, I like them. And when I get done, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to find a little album or something to put them in. I don't know. I've got a lot of these. And a lot of these different kits. I don't know what I'm going to do with them when they're done. But then I don't always know what I'm going to do with the diamond painting when I'm done either. I got my Peggy Collins today. So I used half of my points to get the Mother's Day Peggy Collins, the flowers. I haven't even opened it yet. It's sitting by the door. I was so happy I had points because I'm not spending any money right now. I'm on a no spend on pretty much anything. I bought the easel because I really needed to find a solution for this. This is too small unless I'm working on smaller paintings, and the other one's big enough, but it's not big enough for these big paintings. And I got a lot of these big paintings. I have too many big paintings, you guys. That's kind of the other reason why I'm on a no-buy. It's not that I don't like or want other kits. It's I've got so many of these big ones that I need to work on them. And I need to get them down to a reasonable amount, which I think that's going to take a long time. I think it's going to take a really long time. And I'm not on a no-buy, complete no-buy, because when I do that, then I end up breaking it. I'm on a low buy. I heard somebody else say this. I don't remember who it was, but they said they were on a low buy, not a no-buy. And I think what that does for you, for me anyways, is it lets me be selective but it doesn't make me feel guilty if I cave, right? And I buy something. But I also have a strict budget that I'm going to adhere to that is for all fun things. Like whether that be going out to dinner, going to a movie, any of that kind of stuff. It all comes from the same budget, and there's not going to be a ton of money in that because I need to put money aside. I just experienced unemployment for 6 months, and I just decided, and you know, it's really tough out there. And if, you know, your job goes away, you got to have money set aside. And I had money set aside, so I wasn't terrible, but I had to really make money last, and I want to be prepared for should it happen again, because once you get older, it happens. It just happens. I know it happens to all kinds, you know, people in every stage of life, but I think as you get older, is that two different things? Just a second. Okay, those are D's and those are O's. Okay, got it. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but as I've gotten older, and granted, I got sick, so I had to quit when I was working. I had started my own business, and it just wasn't something I could keep doing when I got sick. There was no way I was going to be able to keep up with that, and so I had to close it down because I didn't want to take on business and then not be able to fulfill it. I probably could have done some, but I don't think I was up to par to doing things at the level that they needed to be done. So I just made the decision that I had to stop because I just needed to rest. And but now it seems like, you know, I was talking to a friend and they're like, you know, sometimes you just gotta work hard and you know, hope things last, but if they don't, you're just planning for the next, you know, situation. So I'm like, but I really love my job now, so I'm hoping for the best, and I think it's going to be good. I do. I'm excited about it. I love getting up and wanting to work. There is a huge difference about having to work and wanting to work, you know? When you're doing something you really like and you really love it and you're having fun, it's not work. I mean, it's work, but you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like work. It feels, I don't know, really good to be able to be in a situation like that. Isn't this cute? You guys, it's so cute. I want a dog so bad right now. Working on these is probably a bad idea. So it's got me going, I want a puppy. I want a puppy. But I have to wait. I just started a job. And I'm trying to, getting a puppy is like having a baby. If any of you guys have ever had a puppy, it is definitely, you're getting up in the night, you're taking them outside, you're doing all this. Although I was talking to a friend the other day and she said that the people that she got her Chihuahua from, they litter train their dogs. And I thought, that's an interesting idea. I never thought about that. I had a bunny that was litter trained, and that was great because I didn't have to, you know. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I kind of like taking them outside too. So, but it would be nice for winter time when it's too cold to go out. Okay. 27. See how fast this is coming up? Oh, I guess it has been. It's kind of felt like it has been very fast, but we're going on 44 minutes. I'm going to do this letter, and then I think I'm going to stop the video, and I'll probably continue, and I'll come back at the end, which might be tomorrow. So it might not get uploaded today. Might come back tomorrow having finished it and show you the finished product before I upload it. Actually, that's perfect, because if I do that tomorrow, oh gosh, I just made drills fly. If I do that tomorrow and then show you the finished product, I'm going to, by the end of this month, I'm going to do a review video, which I haven't done before, but I've got a lot of stuff done. That's kind of why I wanted to show you all of these, because I'm like, am I going to get around to doing that video? This month has been finishing up on some of these smaller projects, because I was behind on stuff, and so I didn't want to get out the big deal until I get some of this stuff done, because I do want to get this stuff caught up and be doing what I plan to do, which is I like to plan having at least a budget kit, and then a main canvas, and then some of these little ones into my calendar, you know, because I've got, what is it? Yeah, I usually do one of the dog ones that I've been working on, one of these ones, one of the butterflies, and the calendar on top of the budget kit and the bigger kit. And that's usually what I can do when I wasn't working. So we'll see if I can keep up that pace. I'm kind of slow. I don't mind that I'm slow, but I'm kind of slow. I believe in, I've had a lot of people, I'm too slow. You know, you see all these posts where they feel like they aren't doing enough. And in my opinion, it's not a race. It's not, I have to get so much done or I'm failing. I do this for relaxation. And if I'm rushing or I'm trying, that's why I don't do a lot of contests or do a lot of those things, because like I did the Peggy Collins thing, and now I never finished it. Peggy Collins is still working on that one, because it's you just never know if you're going to be able to get things done in the amount of time. You know, life happens, and you don't get things done. And this is a hobby, and I want to enjoy it, so I don't rush. If I'm behind schedule, well, it'll get done when it gets done. Yes, I thought I would get at least half of that bulldog done the month I started it. And now we're at month 3, and I didn't work on it at all this last month, because I was working on Easter stuff. I still have one square of the cross to work on. That was the other thing I was going to show you guys. Maybe I'll show it at the end here. It's almost done. It's not quite done, but it's almost done. I started working on these yesterday. I was going to work on the cross because I just had a little bit left, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to have all these dogs, and here I am putting myself in a box, right? Maybe I'll do the ones here and then stop for the day. Or maybe I should stop now. Probably I should stop now because the video is getting quite long. Yeah. Why don't we do this? If you made it this far, hit the doggy emoji and let me know you watched the whole video. I'm going to stop here, stop taping here anyways. Then I'll work on some more of it, see how far I get. But by tomorrow, I'll do an update and show you what I've done, and then we'll get the video posted. So hopefully I get it posted by Tuesday, but we shall see. Anyways, talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Oh, like, share, all the things. But I will be back, so I'm not actually gone yet. I'm going to add to this video tomorrow. See you soon. Welcome back. I know that was just a couple seconds for you, but I finished it. Isn't it cute? Anyways, I thought it was cute. So we've got the pug now. We've got the Silky Terrier. We've got the Beagle. And the little Jack Russell. So it is 11:30 and it is time to go to bed. I will see you again soon. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, and yeah, bye now.